Anti-Semitism. You've probably heard that word 100 times in the past couple of weeks. But what does it really mean? Where did it originate? And why is everyone freaking out about it?
Anti-Semitism is defined as a certain perception of Jews, which is often expressed as hatred. In layman's terms, it just means Jew hatred. This hate manifests in a couple of different forms, which we'll get to later in the series.
The term Semite was first used in the 18th century to define languages related to Hebrew, initially referring to people of Near East origin. So technically speaking, Arabs, Akkadians, Canaanites, Hebrews, some Ethiopians, and even Aramean tribes are all Semites.
While all these groups can be termed Semitic, anti-Semitism is specifically the hatred and persecution of Jews. The term anti-Semitism came about originally in its Germanic form. In 1860, Austrian Jewish scholar Matthias Steinschneider introduced the term translating anti-Semitic prejudices. He used the expression in a piece he wrote countering the ideas of French philosopher Ernest Renan, which claimed that the Semitic race was inferior to the Aryan race.
Then, in 1879, a German journalist by the name of Wilhelm Marr published a pamphlet titled The Way to Victory of Germanism over Judaism, in which he used the term anti-Semitism. That same year, Marr founded the League of Anti-Semites. It's interesting to note that Marr's first 3 wives were Jewish. He was married 4 times. Now, don't get me wrong, we love a king that knows how to move on, but I feel like it's important context. In 1891, he published an essay titled Testament of an Anti-Semite, apologizing for his mistaken anti-Semitic notions.
Now, this doesn't mean that anti-Semitism started in the 18th and 19th century. They don't call it the world's oldest form of hate for nothing. Abraham, the father of the 3 major monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, led his family to Canaan almost 1,000 years before the Common Era, where the nation, the people of Israel, came to being. During those centuries before Christ, the Hebrews, the early Jewish people, experienced intermittent persecution because they refused to worship the idols of the kingdoms of the Middle East. This refusal was seen as stubbornness and was resented.
Since that time, anti-Semitism evolved and changed, but persisted through the Middle Ages, the early modern era, leading us into today.
In 2022, anti-Semitism is on the rise, and we see manifestations of Jew hate all around us, although acts of anti-Semitism may often be unclear. Up next, stay tuned for a breakdown of anti-Semitism and how things that might not sound hateful are actually very harmful.